The self-discipline hack that turned me into a machine. Once I was just like you, staring at my goals, daydreaming about success, but feeling paralyzed by the mountain of tasks ahead. Every day felt like I was stuck in the same loop, waking up late, procrastinating, and promising myself that tomorrow would be different. But then, one night, everything changed. I stumbled upon a secret. Something so simple, yet so powerful that it broke me free from the cycle of failure and turned me into a machine. I'm talking about a single shift in my mindset that rewired my entire approach to discipline, turning me into someone who could execute flawlessly, even on my worst days. It wasn't willpower. In fact, I learned that willpower has almost nothing to do with it. Instead, it was this one habit, this one hack, that changed the game completely. But here's the twist. It's not what you think. It's not about grinding harder, burning yourself out, or living on a strict schedule. No, this hack is more subtle, more surprising, and it works in the background, quietly transforming you from the inside out. I didn't even realize the power of this hack until one day, weeks after I started, I looked up and realized I had become unrecognizable. The procrastination? Gone. The distractions? Under control. And the progress? Well, let's just say I was doing things I never thought were possible. But what is this hack? And why don't more people know about it? That's what I'm about to reveal to you, because if you can unlock this one simple change, you'll start seeing results faster than you ever imagined. I'll never forget the day I came across that one phrase. Small hinges swing big doors. It wasn't some motivational quote from a book. It wasn't from a self-help guru. No, it was an offhand comment made by a friend who didn't even know the impact it would have on me. I was sitting at a bar that evening, sipping on a drink, feeling like I was trapped inside my own head. I had big plans, sure, but they always felt a million miles away. Every time I thought about the effort required, a voice inside me would say, "Not today." I was constantly stuck in an internal struggle, wanting to make progress, but never actually doing it. That night, though, I found myself caught in a conversation that would forever change my life. My friend, casually leaning back in his chair, said, "You know, the trick isn't in working harder. It's in working smarter. Small hinges swing big doors." The simplicity of the statement hit me like a thunderbolt. The whole time I'd been trying to force myself to power through the struggles, thinking that hard work was the key to success. But this was different. I realized I'd been overlooking something crucial: the system. You see, most people look at discipline as a matter of brute force. They think they need to push themselves, to force the work, to burn the midnight oil in order to get anything done. But that mindset, it's a trap. The problem with willpower is that it's finite. You start the day full of energy, but by noon, your mental reserves are depleted. By 5 p.m., you've been distracted by a million little things, and that to-do list is looking as daunting as ever. We're not designed to operate on sheer willpower alone. That's the truth most people miss. But what if it didn't have to be so hard? What if, instead of using willpower to push ourselves every day, we could shift our approach to discipline itself? That's the secret. That's the hack. At first, I didn't fully understand the weight of what my friend had said. But over the next few weeks, I started noticing something subtle. Every time I committed to a small habit, something as tiny as writing down my goals in the morning or setting a timer for 25 minutes of focused work, I felt something shift inside me. I started realizing that the little things, when done consistently, were making a bigger impact than any of my grand efforts to work harder ever had. It was about 2 weeks after that conversation when I started to see the change. The nagging feeling that I was always falling behind, always running out of time, it started to fade. I could feel myself gaining momentum, slowly but surely. The productivity that used to feel impossible was suddenly within reach. But here's where the magic happened. I wasn't just working harder. No, I was working differently. And at the same time, I wasn't forcing myself to grind longer or push through exhaustion. Instead, I was creating an invisible framework, an environment that naturally led me to success without even thinking about it. Every small action I took, the 5-minute writing session, the brief but intense focus, built upon itself. And those tiny actions began stacking up in ways I couldn't have predicted. It felt effortless. It felt like I had tapped into a hidden system that made my life easier, not harder. Then came the moment that took everything to the next level. One morning, I woke up and instead of feeling the usual dread about what I had to do, I felt ready. I could feel the weight of the day's tasks, but they didn't seem impossible anymore. It was like I had been playing a game with the system, and suddenly the game became fun. The mind shift had been so subtle that I didn't even realize how far I'd come. But when I looked back at what I had accomplished over the past few weeks, how I had rewritten the script of my life with these tiny, almost invisible habits, I was stunned. The transformation had already happened. I was operating like a machine, and I didn't even realize it until the results were already in motion. And the beauty of it all? I wasn't exhausted. I wasn't burning out. The whole system had taken root in my life, making everything I did flow with purpose. I had turned my willpower into a tool, but now it didn't feel like a battle anymore. It was just part of the process. The most surprising part of all? The people around me started noticing. Friends, family, coworkers, they started commenting on how different I seemed, how calm, focused, and productive I had become. But the truth was that I wasn't doing anything extraordinary. I was just tapping into a framework that made everything simpler. And here's the twist. That's when the real lesson hit me. I didn't have to constantly be on alert, forcing myself into discipline. What I had done was build a system around me that made discipline effortless. And that's where most people fail. They try to rely solely on willpower or motivation to carry them through. But motivation is fleeting. Systems are forever. So what's the hack? It's not about forcing discipline. It's about creating an environment where discipline naturally thrives. It's about taking small actions that over time become automatic, almost second nature. It's about trusting that tiny hinges, those little, seemingly insignificant changes, can open massive doors of productivity and success. Now, the question is, are you ready to unlock your own system? Are you ready to start building those small hinges in your life, knowing that over time, they will swing doors you never thought possible? This is your chance to break free from the cycle of procrastination. You've been shown the way, but the choice to walk through that door is yours. Final CTA. If you've made it this far, I want to hear from you. Comment below with the phrase, small hinges, big doors. Let me know you're ready to unlock your system, and share this video with someone you know who's been struggling with discipline. They need to hear this secret. Trust me, it could change everything. And don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss the next story that's about to unfold.